Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. We start our video with a story about our OP's horrible first day at work. But at the end, everything ended up okay, and the OP got a little bonus. So before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Yes, sir. I am supposed to be here. This is a short one. Background. I used to work for a company that specialized in store interior. Basically, we build the shelves and counters for supermarkets. Cast. Me is me. CW, coworker. I am irate manager. Around 2.5 years ago, I started to work at that company. Right as I started, we were about to drive to a supermarket about 2 hours away from us to deliver and set up a new counter for their flower section. Okay, great. So off we went. We arrive at the supermarket and get our tools from the truck. My boss tells me to bring the tools to the area we're supposed to work in. I do as I'm told as my coworker and boss stalk off to get the manager. I was looking through the tools we'd need to tear apart the old counter when someone approached me and started shouting. I turned to see an irate supermarket manager. So this conversation ensued. I am. What the F do you think you're doing? Me. Looking for the right tools? I am. You better leave those tools alone and get the hell out of my store, you thief! It dawned on me that he didn't know I was working for the company he hired. What didn't help was the fact that we didn't have a uniform. Me. I'm sorry, He interrupts. Shut up and get out! Me. Sir, I work for company. It's my first day. I'm supposed to be here. I am is just nodding and clearly not believing me. Store security comes and I'm about to be escorted out when CW comes running up to me. CW. What's going on? I am. He made up some crap about working with you and he was about to steal your tools. CW, looking at I am. Sir, this is OP. It's his first day in our company. I am, after a pause, looks at, so you're supposed to be here? Me. Yes, sir, I'm supposed to be here. The security walked off, and I am apologized profusely, and I even got my lunch for free. And our second story. Entitled mom and entitled daughter trying to get my grandpa's things after he passed. Cast. Madeline equals grandpa's ex-girlfriend / entitled mother. Sarah equals EM's daughter. Me, my mom. My grandpa had an on-off long-distance girlfriend. We're in Virginia, she's in New Jersey, that my mom and aunts hated. She tried to push him around, tried to take my mom's power of attorney for him, and go through his things when he said he had no money. He wanted a casual dating thing, she wanted marriage. When he was first bedridden, he didn't want her around and hung up on her and didn't talk to her for the last few months. Yesterday, I went to his house to meet my mom to help pack and go through pictures. She also had pillows made with Grandpa's shirts for each of his kids and grandkids. It was wonderful, but full of tears. We went out for a cigarette. I know, I'm horrible. And Madeline and Sarah pull up. I don't know Sarah, but my mom does, and they don't like each other. She had told them we would pack up whatever was hers, and when we'd finished, she would call them to schedule picking it up. They never told her they were coming. My mom told me not to say anything because I can be a hothead. Sarah comes up and tries to go through a box of pictures my mom had, asking what it was. My mom slid the box to me and tells her it's for me. Madeline tries to come up, but their dog almost pulls her over, and Sarah runs and puts them back in the car. Then Sarah tells my mom she's going in the house and getting Madeline's things, very stern. I already don't like the way she's talking to my mom. My mom tells her we haven't done a lot inside. Grandparents were pack rats using 4 sheds, which we went through first, and all we found was her sewing machine and other sewing things. Madeline hadn't left much because she never lived there. Sarah says that's fine, she'll just go in and tell her what's theirs. My mom says no. So she starts naming things that she bought him as gifts. A leather jacket, some model trucks, a veteran plaque. My mom says yes to the jacket, but no to the rest since they were gifts, and we walk in the house, lock the door, and start gathering her things. My mom carries them to her, but asked me to stay inside because she was afraid Sarah may act up. I protested and was worried, but I respected her wish and stayed watching through the door. Sarah starts to describe a colorful lamp in the corner of the living room, saying it was Madeline's. My grandma loves some weird stuff, and so do I. I've loved that lamp since I was tiny. I'm 34, and it was the first thing I got when my grandpa passed. It reminds me of my childhood, and my grandpa made it for my grandma. There's no way that lamp is hers. They're lying to steal, and it's not just a gut feeling anymore. My mom brings her a completely different pink lamp. She hates that thing, and Sarah takes it. She tells them that's it and to leave. Sarah comes back up the ramp asking if she's moving in or selling the house, and when my mom didn't want to answer a bunch of questions that were none of her business, Sarah told her the animosity needs to stop. My mom pretty much says, nope, he's gone now, and so are you. Bye. And comes in. They sit in the car forever and talk about proof they were there. So I go out and take a video of them in the drive, and they finally leave. My mom calls one of my aunts, and I find out through their conversation that she had to contact the cops to watch the house and let them know Madeline and Sarah have been harassing my grandparents' best friend at work and my aunts to get to my mom. When my mom talked to the police, they told her Sarah and Madeline had called asking for help getting their stuff, and the police said they couldn't do anything. I'm so worried they'll break in, but at least there's a record of things in case something happens. That's it, not that crazy, but definitely entitled. If I were you, I'd have somebody stay at the house at all times until you get the stuff sorted. And our last story. We towed his car, and he's going to sue us. Background. This all happened about 10 years ago when I worked first shift at a small Midwestern university as a security officer. A large part of our job was to write tickets for students who parked in lots they didn't have a permit for. The tickets would then go through and be assigned to the student's account. Now, we couldn't always find out who owned the car, but we did our best to do so. There was one vehicle whose driver kept parking in the same place, which wasn't a parking spot and was clearly marked as such. A bunch of hatched lines on the ground along with no parking stenciled inside. By parking there, it made it harder for people to turn into a certain part of the lot. We must have ticketed them 20 times, and these tickets were $30 apiece, which means they owed the university about $600, but they kept parking there. Though unfortunately, we couldn't find out who owned the car and couldn't bill them. Fast forward a few months, and I'm at dispatch. There were two of us, and we took turns between patrolling and dispatching, when I hear my coworker call in that there was a car on fire in that same lot. Needless to say, I called the fire department, who were on scene within 3 minutes. Unfortunately, they had a problem getting to the car that was on fire because of said person parking their car illegally. They were able to get to the car eventually and put out the fire. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but they complained about the illegally parked car and stated that it should be towed. After talking with my supervisor's boss and getting permission, we called a tow company and had the car towed. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Of course not. Fast forward again, about an hour and a half to 2 hours later, and the owner of the towed car comes into our office. EAS equals entitled a-hole student. ME is me, obviously. AC is awesome coworker. EAS, excuse me, but someone has stolen my car. Me, strongly suspecting who it was. I'm sorry to hear that, sir. What's your name and student ID number? EAS, entitled a-hole student, and my ID is 1234567. Me, what's the make, model, and license plate of your vehicle? EAS tells me the make and model, but I no longer remember what it was. Me, no sir, your car wasn't stolen, it was towed for being parked illegally. EAS, why the F did you tow my car? Me, because it was parked illegally. EAS, this is fraud. Awesome coworker, how exactly? EAS, you had no right to tow my car. Me holding a printout of EAS's tickets that I had printed out earlier and dramatically plopping it onto the table in front of him. You have 20 tickets for parking where there is no spot, so you have no way of saying that you didn't know that you were, as far as I've seen them, lying on your front passenger seat. Also, because you were parked there, the fire department had trouble getting to a car that was on fire. Your actions put other students at risk. EAS. I don't effing care. This is fraud. You had no right to tow my car. AC showing EAS the part of the ticket where it states that you can and will be towed and pointing out that all the lot signage says the exact same thing. We had every right to tow you. EAS. This is copious fraud. I have no idea what he meant by that, and I'm going to sue. My father is the vice president of insert name of large multinational company here, and we will sue you, and you'll both lose your jobs. AC. Well, sir, the best of luck to you in that endeavor. EAS then leaves in an angry huff. We contact the big boss and let him know about the crap storm that's coming his way. We didn't hear from EAS again and thought nothing more of the encounter other than talking to each other about how entitled EAS was. A few days later, the big boss let us know that EAS's father had contacted him about the towing and that he'd explained to him what had happened. The father, apparently being a decent parent, accepted Big Boss's explanation and let the matter rest. Bet his dad cut off his allowance. I can hear the whining tantrum from here. The best part for me and the revenge karma? Since EAS gave me his name and student ID number, I can now assign all of the tickets to his student account, all $600 worth. Keep in mind he couldn't sign up for new classes, change housing, or graduate unless the amount was paid and in full. Also, if he illegally parked again, I could assign those ones as well. All in all, I'm happy with how it turned out. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.